Hello and welcome back to Mate's Tottenham blog and to another Transfer Talk live stream. Today I'm joined by CharlieTHFC, David Harris, the Irish Yid, and Scott from the Tottenham Hotspur team to preview our January transfer window, talking about today's news about Harry Kane and also every other thing you could want from this transfer window preview. Let's welcome a few people here to the stream. We've Alexander Hilton in the live chat. Welcome as well channel member Paranormal Frank, who I think is the same opinion to all of us as we hear that Manchester City could be looking for Harry Kane. Viper, THFC Gaming as well, all welcome along to the stream, and Happy New Year to everyone who's watching. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas, and let's hope 2021 will be a bit better than the year we had. We'll start. Scott, welcome back to the channel. I absolutely love the scarf. How are you getting on?
Yeah, thanks, Mac. Glad to be here. I'm doing well. Always a pleasure to join the show. A little further from ringing in the new year than you all are over in Ireland and the UK.
Yeah.
You know, it's morning time for me on the West Coast, but excited for 2021 and all that's to come.
Yeah, good to hear. David Harris, the Irish Yid, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm all good. Happy New Year to everybody watching as well and everyone else out there. I hope you have a good one and a better one than last year. And I'm excited for this show. I love talking transfers and it's the time of the year for it.
And Charlie, second time on the channel this week. Good to have you back on. How are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. As always, thanks for having me on, Matt. I always enjoy doing these, especially the transfer videos. It's that time of year. As always, get our teeth stuck into some transfer news. And it's going to be a good stream, hopefully. So, once again, thanks for having me on, Matt, as always.
Yeah, no worries, all. Pleasure to have all of you on. Anyone here, if you are new to the channel and you want more of these transfer live streams plus live watch-alongs, match reviews, previews, plenty of collabs, and a massive one coming up this January is Fabrizio Romano. We'll be back on the channel to discuss Tottenham transfers. Make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We're looking to get to 4,400 subscribers today. We're about 20 off as it is, so please help me get to that goal and we can end the year on a high. And I suppose there is only one place to start, really, and it is the news from Christian Falk earlier today that Manchester City are apparently preparing a £100 million bid for Harry Kane. Now, as Flamethrower says here, Falk has already lost his reputation in Germany, and now he's doing the same in England. He has a tier 1.5 source on Twitter, but I think that is a bit generous. He does make some outlandish shouts at times. But Scott, I suppose we'll start with you. 100 million for Harry Kane, would you take it?
Not a chance. Not a chance. For me, it comes down to financials and return on investment, and you can't replace Harry Kane with $100 million. Whatever Robert Lewandowski costs, that's what it costs to replace Harry Kane. And I don't think $100 million is going to cut it, yet alone he's never leaving Bayern to come to Tottenham. We can't sell Harry Kane. I think you guys will all agree with me here. This is the same thing we've been hearing for the last 4 or 5 seasons now.
Yep.
Had things gone differently in the last offseason, we didn't bring in Mourinho. We were in 14th place when Pochettino was sacked. Who knows? But I'm very confident that Harry Kane's invested in Tottenham right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And as channel member, new channel member James Watson there says, thank you very much for joining the membership, James. If anyone else is interested, click the join button below to tell you all you need to know. As he says, it's very unwelcome news, and you make a good point, Scott, that we're used to having this now. But I think Alexander saying 100 million, they must be joking. I'd certainly agree with that. David, it should be a no-brainer for Daniel Levy to turn that one down, shouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Look, first of all, there'd be uproar in the fan base if we ever sold Harry Kane. Look, Harry Kane for me is like similar to what Steven Gerrard was to Liverpool. It's always going to be muted that he's going to leave, but it's never going to happen. And in my opinion, I'd love to know if anyone can tell me who are you going to get to replace the goals that Harry Kane gets us? There's no one out there for 100 million.
Yep.
No one.
Yeah, it would be a big concern, and I think we have kind of changed our approach to selling players recently. We used to be almost a tactic to sell to our Premier League rivals because we can up the price a bit more. Say the most recent example of that is Kyle Walker. I think things are a bit different right now. I can't see this one happening. Charlie, I assume you're in the same boat.
Yeah, of course I am. Look, what are they smoking over there in Manchester? If they think they can even pick the phone up, then they're seriously on something. Because not in a million years are we selling Harry Kane. Nowhere near, literally. And I'm in the exact same boat as you guys. Sure, look, if Levy did this, then there'd be serious uproar in the fan base. I think you'd see more ENIC out movement than we've ever seen before. But the thing is, I have faith that Levy won't do this. I'm pretty certain of that. And I think, nothing to worry about. And as you said about Christian Falk, he was the one that actually said, I found out recently, that Thiago had actually signed a new deal at Bayern Munich before literally a couple of days later when it going on to join Liverpool. So look, I wouldn't read too much into this. I don't think it's much to worry about. Look, obviously Harry Kane, at the moment he is invested into Tottenham. It's pretty clear about that, and hopefully it stays that way by us having a successful season this year. But even so, I cannot see this one happening, and thank God, because look, Man City, don't even think about it. You're not getting Harry Kane. No one is. That's all I'm saying. He's staying here.
Yeah, I agree. And as Frank says there, Levy scares me, though. I think a lot of fans will have that sort of concern that, the dollar signs will be in Daniel Levy's eyes as he sees Manchester City coming towards him for Kane, because we could get a lot more money for him, and prototype there saying he's going nowhere. And I think a lot of Spurs fans would have that confidence. A lot of Spurs fans would have that confidence that we will see Kane in a Spurs jersey for a long time to come. Stephanie for points.
Just for me, Matty, the only situation I can kind of refer to would be the Gareth Bale situation. But when we saw Gareth Bale, we needed the cash. We needed to reinvest in the squad. And we were a smaller club back then. Real Madrid was a much more attractive proposition.
100%.
Are you telling me that Man City is more of an attractive proposition right now than Tottenham?
I wouldn't say so. No, I wouldn't. City they're in a very weird period at the moment where obviously they have Pep Guardiola, one of the best managers in world football. Of course, they've won everything except the Champions League in the last few years. But at the moment, they seem to be in a weird kind of period of transition. And Stephanie here is saying if Kane wants the Premier League, he might go. Scott, do you think Man City is a team that can promise Premier League titles in the next couple of years?
I don't think so. And no disrespect to the listener, appreciate the support for sure, but I definitely disagree with that. I think I don't see how City's more apt to win a title right now than Tottenham is, to be completely honest. And we all know what happens when you hop on Twitter. It's silly. There's a lot going on right now. We're 4 points off the top, I believe, if we win, our next match, with well over half the season to go. So I don't understand how anyone would consider us out of a title race 4 points off the top at this point. Again, assuming we win our next game, but either way, a lot of season left, and I just don't see how City's more in that hunt than we are at all.
Yeah, I agree. And David, someone might have answered your question there in the chat. I'd sell him if we got Haaland. Do you think Haaland could be a good option if it did come to replace Harry Kane? And is it a realistic option?
For me, Haaland would be the long-term option. He's the best option out there. The guy is going to clean up for goals over the next 10 years. He's a talent. He's 6 foot odd. He's pure brick. Do you know what I mean? He's pure muscle. He's got athleticism, and he knows where to find the net. He does know how to find the net. But look, Harry Kane's one of our own, and I want Harry Kane. The thing is, even if you sell Harry Kane, there's no guarantee that Haaland's going to come to Tottenham. This is the thing.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that he's going to come to Tottenham. To be honest with you, I understand why he turned down the move to Manchester United, because look, Manchester United, they're not the same as what they used to be. But the thing is, if Harry Kane does go to City, Matty, Pep Guardiola is going to be out of there in a year or two. He's not going to be there much longer. So they're going to go through the same phase that Arsenal went through when they lost Wenger, that United went through when they lost Alex Ferguson, and that what Liverpool will go through when they use Jurgen Klopp. It takes a few years to build everything back up and get your club back to the best. So for me, Harry Kane will be taking a huge risk going to City.
Yeah, I agree.
Good point.
I suppose from a City point of view, what they're thinking now is, Sergio Aguero having some very, very bad injury troubles at the moment. And I think the feeling around a lot of the City fan base is that Aguero might not be there next season. So they're looking for that kind of replacement, a player who is going into the prime of his career. And Harry Kane could potentially be that player. But I think I'd agree with you. It's highly unlikely that we will see anything materialise here. And look, Alaric makes a good point here. Haaland is more likely to go to City and Kane stay, as Haaland was born down the road to Manchester and his dad played for them. So, I mean, it's a good point. But Charlie, would it be a worry if City did get Haaland?
If City went for Haaland, it'd be a worry in the sense that, makes them stronger. It strengthens a rival in a way. So, it would be a worry in terms of where we want to go in the Premier League and stuff. But I think, look, I'd be if Haaland went to City, I guess we have to be happy because it means they're not going for Kane, I guess. So yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised if Haaland does end up at City. I was hearing last year as well. One of the main strikers they were looking at was Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan, sort of similar mould to Aguero, same nationality as well. I thought so. Yeah, they've got the likes of Haaland, Martinez. They're the two main ones that have been linked to the past year regarding them replacing Aguero. But look, yeah, obviously, as I said, it would be a worry in terms of competition and stuff. Makes them stronger and stuff. But I guess it would be relief that they're not going to be trying for Kane at all.
Yeah, definitely. Every club and all that. And if them getting Haaland meant we got to hold on to one of our own, I think it would definitely be a great option. Look, anyone, if you are enjoying this stream, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out, and it can get more Spurs fans in here by pushing it out to a lot more. So we're on 65 viewers and we've only 15 likes. So make sure we sort that one out. And now, look, we'll get into the news people are looking forward to hearing about. And we'll talk about Marcel Sabitzer next. Basically, the latest on him is that the RB Leipzig board have essentially confirmed there is interest from Tottenham in the player. And a few different sources are saying as well that Sabitzer is interested in moving to Spurs. Ekrem Koner, who's a Turkish journalist, I think is the one who said that Tottenham have made a bid already. I don't think that is true. He's not a very reliable source.
Tier 3.
He's had a lot, tier 3. He's had a lot to say about Spurs in the last couple of weeks, not much of which has been true. But look, this is one that Tottenham fans are getting confident about in January. Of course, Leipzig have just brought in Dominic Szoboszlai potentially as a pre-replacement almost for Marcel Sabitzer. But I suppose if you're looking at it from not a negative but a realistic point of view, Scott, Sabitzer is in the last 16 of the Champions League with Leipzig now, and as a team who are in the Europa League, do you think we will have that draw for a player like Sabitzer?
Pre-Mourinho, I would say no. But with Mourinho, I say absolutely. I'm really excited about this one. I think anyone who knows me knows that I'm a massive Moussa Sissoko fan. I've had the chance to meet him, had a good conversation with him. I've always really believed in him, but I am comfortable saying that we could upgrade that position in some regard, and I think he could be a great option off of the bench. And I think what I'm getting at is Sabitzer, I think, ticks that box. I think he could pair really nicely alongside PEH. I also think he can do a lot of what Winks does for us, maybe to a more advanced degree. And I don't mean to open up wounds and pick at scars there. I know that Winks can be polarizing, but I'm a big fan of Sabitzer, and I think, his ability to play from really, our own half up through goal is pretty impressive. And he's somebody who could do a lot of good in our midfield right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Frank here, channel member, is saying I've heard Arsenal are trying to get Sabitzer. I think
it's ESPN. It's ESPN. They're like tier 4.
Yeah, exactly. Sabitzer doesn't want to play in the championship. I'll tell you that.
Arsenal will be waiting a long time if they try to get that one. David, I think I know your thoughts on Marcel Sabitzer, but if you want to just let us know them again.
Yeah, first of all, just answer your channel member. Arsenal will be more likely to get Scott McTominay than Sabitzer. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. But on Marcel Sabitzer, look, I'm a huge fan. I am a huge fan. He contributes goals and assists from midfield, which is what our midfield lacks. So he's going to add something. And just on Scott's point, I hope he adds a hell of a lot more than Harry Winks. A hell of a lot more. Not just offers what Harry Winks offers, but I hope a hell of a lot more, because it's not much that Harry Winks gives us. But Sabitzer, look, he's a great passer on the ball. He's energetic. He gets up and down. He's fit. And as well, he has a good strike on him. And he destroyed us in the Champions League last year.
He did.
He destroyed us.
That was painful.
And just to your point, Matty, I think because we have Mourinho and because we're Tottenham Hotspur, look, we're only in Europe League this season, back in the big time next year. Sabitzer knows that. Mourinho will be telling him that. So I think we do have a good chance of getting. The only thing that, just like you said, sits in the back of my mind that might stop it is the fact that they are in the Champions League knockout stages. We're only in Europa League. But look, we're Tottenham Hotspur. We have Jose in charge. Why can't it be done?
Exactly. I think, as Scott said, with Jose in charge, you feel as though any transfer that wouldn't happen previously could have a bit more of a pull factor now. And on your point about not enough goals in the midfield, in the game against Wolves on Sunday, Ndombele became the first player other than Kane and Son to actually score more than once in the Premier League this season. So goals outside of our front two are really a concern. And Caleb here is saying, if we can't get Sabitzer, what about James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, so first on Sabitzer, I think a few of you, David definitely knows my thoughts on him. Look, ever since he destroyed us in the Champions League, I've been a massive fan. I've been sort of following him a little bit. And yeah, he's a midfielder I just really, really like the look of. I think he'd be a really big signing for us. I think, as David said, he'd add more goals to our midfield, I think, which is something we definitely lack this season. And I think, we do need, especially if Dele goes. I think if Dele goes in January, there's no excuses not to get Sabitzer, because I think if Dele goes, you simply have to replace him. It's as simple as that, really. Sabitzer, he'd be a quality signing for us. And I think on that point regarding James Ward-Prowse, I think Ward-Prowse, look, it's unrealistic. I don't think he's literally Mr. Southampton, James Ward-Prowse. Like, he's everything to do with that club. And I think it's a very unrealistic one, to be honest. But I think if he was to come to Tottenham, I think he would be a good signing, because I think he can offer us a lot more than what Winks does. He's Ward-Prowse, he's if not one of the best, if not the best free kick taker, set piece taker in the Premier League, which is something something our midfield players lack, and just our team overall have been lacking. Like, our set pieces and free kicks have been dreadful this season. And I think someone like him, yes, Ward-Prowse would definitely be a good signing, but I think Ward-Prowse is unrealistic. However, Sabitzer, I can see that one happening if Dele was to go. If Dele doesn't go, then not in January, but if Dele does go, then I can see it. But I think it would be massive. It really would be a massive signing for us, because, as I said, I've been a massive fan of him for a while now, and I think he definitely improve our team, maybe in a similar extent to what Bruno Fernandes did to Man United last January, how he elevated them. Maybe someone like Sabitzer would do something like that. And I think Sabitzer, look, whether we get him in January or the summer, he's someone we just can't afford to miss out on, because we missed out on too many players. Look at Bruno Fernandes. I worry if we do leave it too long for Sabitzer, there'll be more interest there and he'll get snapped up by someone else. So we have to move for this one, hopefully in January, if not early on in the summer. So yeah, I think Sabitzer would be a brilliant signing for Tottenham.
Matty, just on the Sabitzer thing quickly, do you think we're going to get him for like a low enough fee? Like, do you think it's low enough fee? Because I know his contract is due up as well. So
yeah, the thing with Leipzig players is a lot of them tend to have relatively low release clauses. Like, look at how much Chelsea paid for Timo Werner. You know, there aren't many players in world football that you get for such a cheap price when their numbers have been so good. So the way they run their business essentially is they get these younger players off their sister clubs, like they've just done getting Szoboszlai from Red Bull Salzburg, and then they can send their own players on, and they're not going to look for 70-80 million for Sabitzer. I don't know if there is any release clause in there, or I'm not exactly sure how much is left in his contract, but I think if we were looking for a player of his quality, he's definitely the cheapest one that we could find. Because if you go to La Liga, they all have release clauses and they're all a lot higher. You know, if you're looking for a Premier League team, again, it'll be really high. If you're looking at the French league, you know, it'll just be PSG players. You know how much money they're going to cost. So I think it would be a relatively cheap fee, but
well on the Sabitzer contract. I believe his contract does expire at the end of next season, so he's got about 18 months left. Just some information there.
Yeah, that's good. That will drive the price down even more. But even still, Scott, money is going to be a problem for Spurs this window. It was David Ornstein who said it recently that he's unsure if Spurs are going to have the funds to make any sign in this window. Do you think money could be a problem for Spurs in trying to get Sabitzer?
Joe Lewis, 4 billion.
Yeah, right.
That's all I need to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Yeah, I will say before I answer the question, I do agree. I feel like if people have a problem with Levy, they should direct their frustration to Joe Lewis and not necessarily Daniel Levy, right? And that's important. That's important. But I do think to some degree, Matt, that we may have an issue with our finances. I think, you know, we did such a good job last summer of the freeze, the loan to buys. We know Trevor Birch is a master in that category, and he subsequently has left the club after the 6 months he was here or whatever. So I think our fantastic window we just had was, you know, you can put a lot of that on Trevor Birch and you know, just the shrewd businessman that he is. So I'll be interested to see if we can emulate that transfer window that we just had without Trevor Birch, but we're going to need to, right? We still know we're going to look at freeze. We're going to look at people who are running down their contracts. We're going to look at loan to buys. I think we may loan some of our own guys out in a loan to buy model as well. So this one's a weird one for me because we do need to invest. We do need to bring people in. We know how we need to do that. And we just lost a guy who's very good at doing that. So I do have a little bit of concern, to be honest.
Yeah.
Emily Dunn coming in with another super chat saying Happy New Year, lads. Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year.
Emily, I hope we all have a better one than 2020. We comes in here from channel member Frank saying, going back to the pass window right now, would you take in Dembele or Fernandes? It's actually a very good question.
Two different types of players. They're different types of players.
That's true.
I like Gio or Fernando is the question I'd like.
The thing is, we wanted both. We wanted both.
And Dembele and Fernandes, surely you take Fernandes. He's offered a lot more than what Dembele has offered us.
Different types of players, though. They're different types of players. For me, I can't compare Ndombele and Fernandes. They're just completely different types of players.
They're different types of players, but I'd argue they play in the same position. And if that's the case, Bruno has been a lot more effective for Manchester United. He's already his first full season in England. He's broken the record for most goal contributions by a midfielder in a calendar year.
All I'm going to say is 5 million. 5 bloody million. Levy had to pay 5 more million.
Honestly, I think that was a Poch thing. I think it came down to Gio or Bruno, and I think there's an Argentine connection there. And I think Poch maybe went for Gio, and Gio's a phenomenal player, but he's already played more times for us than he's played for any other club he's been a member of, and that's troubling. We're seeing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's already made more appearances for us than any other club that he's played for, and I think 38 was his max, and that was at PSG, and he had 39 with Spurs, and he's just never available. So as great of a player as he is, you got to be on the pitch, and that's where I'm starting to get concerned.
Do you know what it is as well? I think what it was with Lo Celso and Fernandes, Poch actually wanted both of them, but the reason we didn't get Fernandes is 1, the 5 million thing, and 2, because Eriksen didn't bloody leave as well in that summer. Remember?
That's a good point.
That's
Great
why.
point.
So actually, I believe we wanted both. I think it was both that we wanted, and we got one of them. So I think that's what it was. But the reason we didn't get Fernandes was because bloody Eriksen not leaving.
Good point. That's a great point.
It was a pain, It was a pain that summer.
Yeah, Adam Phillip here saying Dele will probably go to PSG on loan with a view to buy. We'll get a bit more into Dele Alli very shortly, but firstly, I do want to touch on a man that is looking less likely Tottenham will be signing this January transfer window, and that is Milan Skriniar. I know he's one we all wanted in the summer, and one that a lot of Spurs fans, including myself, would like to see join the club this January, but it's looking less and less likely that we bring in Skriniar. And if there is a centre-back option, we could instead be targeting a left-footed, pacey centre-back. Charlie, we'll start with you on this one. Are you disappointed that we're not getting Skriniar, or do you think it's better that we're not getting a player for the sake of it, and we are trying to target a very specific style of footballer?
Yeah, I am disappointed. I think he was someone I definitely wanted in the summer. I think he's a quality defender. I think he's one of the best in Europe, in my opinion. So I think I am quite disappointed. Obviously, look, you can never rule anything out in January. You never know, something could happen in January and in the summer. But I think if we do try and go for Skriniar, I think if Sanchez was to leave, then I could definitely see us going for him, Skriniar. But as all the reports are saying, that if we don't sell Sanchez, then I think I can't see us getting him in January, and it is sort of looking that way at the moment, as it says there. So I am disappointed. I think he's a centre back we need. He's the type we need, because we need a world class centre back. Like, apart from maybe Toby, although Toby is aging, do we really have a world class centre back? That's the thing. That's what Gaffey was saying on David's channel. He made a really good point there. We don't particularly have a world class centre back that will elevate us to another level. And I think Milan Skriniar, he is that type of player. For me, he is a world class centre back. So I think, look, I am quite disappointed. If we don't end up signing him in January, I will be disappointed. But if Sanchez does go, then I can definitely see it, to be honest. If Sanchez does go in the summer or in January, then I could see us bringing in Skriniar. But if he doesn't go in January, then I don't think we will be getting Skriniar, unfortunately, in January.
Yeah, I think the latest on Sanchez, again, we'll be talking more about in a minute, but it's that he is open to move away from Spurs, but we want a replacement before we let him go, which could be a bit of a tough one, because we want a replacement beforehand, but perhaps the money mightn't be there to get that replacement until Sanchez goes, it's a bit of a frustrating paradox, Scott. But do you think it's the better, safer option to wait to get a replacement before we sell a player, even though he isn't the first name on our team sheet?
I mean, I feel like we have to, unfortunately, from a financial viewpoint. I would prefer we don't. I think what we're seeing right now, and I'm sure you guys all agree, but it was obvious in the early Jose days and even beginning of this season that Dyer and Sanchez was the preferred pairing, and I think that's because he values that pacey center back, right? And then Sanchez fell off. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then quickly, a month into the season, it became clear that he no longer trusted Sanchez. But my point is Jose definitely values a pacey center back in that partnership. Right now, we don't have that. It's Dyer and Toby, or Dyer and Joe Rodon, as far as who Jose trusts, and none of them I would consider to be a pacey center back. So we do need to replace that pace. It's not Sanchez. Again, my point on Sanchez was that it's clear if you look at the beginning of the season, that Jose does value that type of partnership, a strength aerial center back who reads the game well and a pacey center back, and we need that pacey center back. I'm not well versed enough in the market to know who that is, and I don't know if anybody is, but we see these random links to people who I'm not going to act like I've heard of before or seen play. And for me, we're at a point where we need somebody who's a little bit more established. I'm not terribly comfortable with us rolling the dice on somebody right now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I feel if we are talking about rolling the dice, the youth players that we have there could potentially fall into that same bracket. But I suppose in a way it would be a safer risk to take. Now, David, I know you're very keen on some young players coming in and getting their chance in the team. Do you think we need to invest in a centre back, or should the likes of Tanganga, Joe Rodon, and even some other younger players be given the chance to prove themselves?
Look, personally, I'm of the opinion that Tanganga is good enough. It's just about putting him in there and letting him play. I think he has the mentality. I think he has all the attributes. And I think he also has an up here, which is most important. Up in the brain, positioning, make good decisions. And look, we threw him in at the toughest away game we could have possibly done, Anfield. And he came in and he was absolutely phenomenal that day. For me, look, the only reason why we haven't seen more to the Tanganga is purely because of his injury problems. I did say he's like Ledley King, but maybe he's more like Ledley King than what we think, especially with the injuries.
Yeah.
But look, I still, we do need to go and sign someone, because for me, look, Toby probably has another good year left in him at the very top. So then we'll end up looking to ship him on. Eric Dyer, for me, I can see why Mourinho is pinning his hopes on him. For me at the minute, he is our long-term option. And Mourinho has to work with him. Rodon, he's just been very unlucky. Like I've said before, he's been tied in the League Cup, hasn't been registered for the Europa League because we signed him too late. So look, I'm not too sure about Rodon at the minute, and I know that'll disappoint people like Marcelo and stuff like that. But I'm just not 100% on the guy at the minute. But for me, Matty, we do need to go and sign someone. And if you are talking about a left-sided centre back with pace, I'd be going for David Alaba. He has been one that's been touted around the market. So for me, he is there to go and get. Sergio Ramos is another one. I'd love us to go and get Sergio Ramos. I want us to get. I'm at the stage. I don't want any more of these kind of unknown quality, or the best championship player, the best young player, or I want the best coming into Tottenham now. I want to see trophies, and the only way we're going to do that is by competing with the best and getting the best.
Yeah, I agree, and I did want to ask about Sergio Ramos as well. There's people saying he had such a good relationship with Jose at Real Madrid, and Ramos as a player who's won everything there is to win in the places that he's played, including nationally. Perhaps the final thing left for him to do in his career could be a move to the Premier League. And Charlie, you can understand people being a bit skeptical about it, because he is getting to the latter stages of his career. He's a rash defender. He often I think he's one of the most amount of red cards for any player in La Liga history. But you kind of have to overlook that and realise that we're getting one of the most successful players in world football if he was to come in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. I think, look, with Ramos, we've seen the news from Dan Kilpatrick and stuff saying that Mourinho is actually more monitoring the situation regarding that. And for me, I'd be all for it. I'd absolutely love this one to happen. I think Ramos, he adds another winner in the team. Again, he's still doing. Look at Thiago Silva at Chelsea. He's 36. He's still doing it in the Premier League. And I think Ramos could be something similar to that. But realistically, as the comment there says, the wages, I can't see it, unfortunately, because he must be on what? He's been there a long time. He's their captain. He must be on some monstrous money or whatever, literally. So for me, I can't see it happening. But if it was to happen, I'd be so excited for this one, because, as you said, good relationship with Mourinho, a winner, a world-class centre-back still, even though he is 34. But unfortunately, I can't see it, but I'd be so happy if it was to get done. That's for sure.
Just this whole thing on wages, it's something that really bugs me. Like, at the end of the day, if we want to be a top club, we have to start paying these sort of wages. We have to. It's end of. Like, and the thing is, we do have a relatively small wage budget at Tottenham at the minute. We can go and match these wages. We definitely can. Like, and the thing is, if he's leaving Madrid, he's going to have to expect a bit of a pay cut, which he probably will. So for me, I think we can match the wages. Right? Like, I don't see what the problem is. I honestly think we can. I honestly don't get where it comes from. For me, it's just small mentality.
Yeah,
I agree. And Caleb here asking about the Dybala transfer. We'll get back to that in a second. We've a $10 super chat coming in from Detrix Kane. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate the support. And if you do want to get your super chats in, we can guarantee they'll be all of them will be read out. He says Nikola Milenkovic is cheaper and a better player. The problem with Skriniar is that his game might not translate in the Prem. Milenkovic is the safest option playing with Rodon at Eiffel Towers. Charlie, we'll let you take this one because I know you're a big fan of Milenkovic.
Yeah. I mean, look, Marcelo's told me a lot about Milenkovic, to be honest. He's probably the biggest fan, if I'm honest, of Milenkovic. And I think, look, I've looked at him a bit lately, and he looks a great player. I think he's got pace about him. He's big. He's 6'4" or something, literally. So he's a massive centre back, and he's fast. So I think, Milenkovic, I think he's got a 22 million release clause in his contract at Fiorentina, so he'd definitely be a cheaper option than Skriniar, and I think he's definitely got the potential to be maybe as good as Skriniar, because you look at Inter Milan signed Skriniar from, I believe it was Sampdoria, so you look at these lesser Italian clubs with these centre-backs, they do tend to come good, a lot of them, so I think Milenkovic would be a good option. If it's not Skriniar, I think Milenkovic is definitely someone that I would like us to go for, and I think, as you said, cheap release clause in there, strong, big, composed on the ball, positional awareness is very good, I've heard, and Milenkovic would definitely be a great option. I think, to be honest, I'll take anyone ahead of Sanchez. Let's be honest, I just can't deal with Sanchez anymore. But with all seriousness, Milenkovic, I'd love that. I'd really like that.
Yeah, Marcelo's saying I've eyes for these things. Charlie's picking up the Milenkovic hype.
Yeah. I've seen a bit of him. Yeah, he looks a good player. Brilliant.
He's an animal in the air. He's an animal in the air, which is what we do miss. We miss someone like, especially from set pieces. He'd be absolutely ideal. Yeah,
no, I agree. And for me, it's such a good sign that when we were so close to signing Skriniar in the summer, Inter Milan, a team who often play against Fiorentina, had identified Milenkovic as his replacement. So, I mean, for me, that can only be a positive sign. Caleb here is asking Matt what happened to the Dybala transfer. It almost went through. The situation with that, when Fabrizio Romano was on here a couple of months ago, he was saying the whole talk about the image rights and all that, it was an issue, but it's not the reason the deal fell through. And ultimately, Paulo Dybala did not want to move to Spurs. So that's why that one didn't happen. And I know Scott on the Hotspur team, of course, would have been very disappointed with that one. But I just want to say as well, links for all of the channels, CharlieTHFC, the Irish Yid, and Hotspur TV, will all be down in the description below. So make sure to go down and check them out if you're enjoying this content, which I'm sure you are. And also, with nearly 200 people watching here, I just want to say, if you are new to this channel and you do want some more transfer talk content over the next couple of weeks, all through the January transfer window, including another exclusive interview with Fabrizio Romano, make sure to stick around for this channel. And I'll actually just play a quick little clip here. If you don't know what the channel is about, here's a quick message. Oh, we'll try that again. We move on now to a few of the outgoings, and as we said, we'll get back now to Dele Alli. Again, the situation with Ali seems to be fairly similar to the one with Davinson Sanchez, in that Dele Alli is open to a move away from Spurs this January, but it seems as though Tottenham are not in a position to sell due to injuries around the midfield. We know Lo Celso will be out for the entire of the festive period. Bale, Lucas Moura also struggling, of course, for Carlos Vinicius, not finding some time in the pitch at the moment. Scott, where do you stand on Dele Alli?
Oh man, definitely in the gray area with Dele. I think there was a time where I was pretty apathetic about the whole thing and said if he leaves, fine. If he stays, fine. But I want what's best for Dele right now. Dele's given so much of this club. I'm concerned that if he doesn't move, like, he's 24 years old in the prime of his career, it's a very dangerous time to take a year and not play football. It can completely change the trajectory of what he could be. So I do think he needs to move. But if he has to stay because of injuries, he better get minutes and he better take that opportunity. If he's going to stay and play, I want him at Spurs, right? I do think he can be effective in the counterattacking system. I know people say he can't. He's fantastic being on the end of a counterattacking product, maybe not necessarily being involved in the buildup of the counterattack, but being on the end of it, he's fantastic. And I think we can definitely find a way to get him involved and become effective. So if he stays, I'll be happy. But I'll say the ball's in your court, Jose, and get the kid on the field.
Yeah, and bringing Jose into this, it seems as though Tottenham want him to stay. Like the club want him to stay. A lot of people around the club want to keep him because they feel as though he can find his form back. But it seems as though Jose Mourinho is the one that perhaps is trying to push this move through because he just doesn't feel as though there's a place in the squad for Ali. David, do you think the managers or the head coach, whatever his title is, do you think his wants should be the only thing considered here, or does the coaching staff and all that do they also have a say?
No, look, the buck stocks with the manager. He's the one that takes the blame if it doesn't work out, and he's the one that takes the credit if it does. So for me, it has to be Jose's choice. Look, Jose's a winner. He's won everything there is to win in club football. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, whatever Jose wants, give it to him. Give it to him because he gets your titles, and that's what we all want at the end of the day. So we have to give Jose what he wants. Just with Dele Alli, Matty. Look, we have all these injuries now, so if he really wants to stay at Tottenham, now is the time where he knuckles down and he gets himself into the team and he gives Jose what he wants. If not, then I'm afraid he has to go. As much as it pains me to say it, if he doesn't do what Jose wants him to do this time round, because there is an opportunity for him to get back in there now, it's his own fault. It is his own fault. And for me, if he doesn't do it now, he's never going to do it, and his career is only going to decline from here on out.
Yeah, I agree. And Pipe Gamer here coming in with the €2 super chat. Thank you very much for that. It is greatly appreciated. And Pochettino going to PSG could definitely be something that does influence Dele Alli's future, as he says there as well. Lloris, Aurier, Winks apparently all targeted as well. Charlie, are you concerned about who Pochettino might be keen on bringing to Paris?
No, I think obviously Dele, that's all the talk, and I think that the comment there, I think that's paper talk. I saw the rumor; it's from unreliable sources. So I think, look, I'm not concerned. I think PSG for me, would any of our players prefer to play in the French league than the Premier League? That's how I see it in a way. So I think, yeah, I'm not. That doesn't worry me. I think Poch's got enough quality there. You look Neymar, Mbappe, Icardi, all these guys. There's lots of quality at PSG. So I think I'm not worried about that. But I want to talk about the Dele Alli situation as well, because I kind of agree with what Scott's saying. I think for me, the club have to do what's best for Dele. I think. If Dele wants to leave and play football, let him. Whether that's on loan or permanently, just let him do what's best for his career. And I think
Charlie, no one's bigger than the football club.
Yeah,
nobody's bigger than the football club.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, David. And I think as you said as well, I think we have to do what Mourinho wants and the coaching staff, because I think Mourinho's won more trophies than our whole club. So the club have to look at Mourinho. The club have to listen to him. And I think if that's what Mourinho wants, then we have to listen to it, because I think and if it's best for Dele, then it's best for him. But I think, as you say about the injuries, it's I guess, look, if he's going to step in and perform, then I think I'd be happy for him to stay. If he wants to be here and wants to get in the team and perform, then I would be quite happy for him to stay. But if he wants to move on and he wants to sort of start a new chapter in his career, then I'd be happy for him, because I think the club should not be holding him back if that's the case. Obviously, I don't know what's the case. I don't think any of us know what the case is if he wants to actually leave. But I think if he wants to leave, let him. To be honest, I think you have to let him and do what's best for his career. And like, as one of you said, the at 24 going into the prime of his career is a dangerous time to sort of not play football for like a year. And I think for me, you've just got to do what's best for Dele. If he wants to go, let him go. If he wants to stay and perform with the injuries and stuff, then hopefully that is the case. But yeah, I think the club. Yeah, go on, David. Sorry,
Charlie, I completely disagree there. It's not up to Tottenham to do what's best for Dele's career. It's up for Dele to do what's best for his own career. What I mean? What I'm saying is, no player is bigger than the club, Charlie. No player is bigger than the club. If the club need him, we need him. If we don't, sell him. It's as simple as that. It's not what's best for Dele. It's what's best for Tottenham.
Yeah, it's no, but I'm just saying that, like, if the club like outright refusing to like let him go or whatever, if he wants to go, then I think it's not good having sort of a character, like sort of maybe a problem in the dressing room if a player's unhappy and stuff, and it might affect the team. But yeah, David, I completely understand with what you're saying. I think yeah, you're right. No player's bigger of the club. I think if Dele wants to get his career back on track, it's up to him, whether that's at Tottenham or elsewhere. I think, yeah, but yeah, look, David, I can definitely see both sides to it. So yeah, I can completely understand what you're saying as well.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in too. I think, when I say let's do what's best for Dele, I'm not saying that as if the club owes him anything at all. I want to see Dele flourish is all that is. I kind of look at I kind of look at the Samuel Eto'o situation when Jose was at Inter, stuck him on the bench. Eto'o was upset, very similar to what's happening with Dele. Jose eventually said, look, if you want minutes, you're going to play on the wing. You're the best striker in the world, some say, but you're going to play on the wing if you want to play for me. They won the treble, right? I think they won the treble. They at least won the Champions League and Serie A that year. So, you know, and what I'm getting at is Eto'o eventually, obviously, at some point said, you know what, I'm going to rise to this challenge and I'm going to do what the manager's asked of me. And I don't see that from Dele. So in no way am I saying Dele's been treated unfairly. You know, I do have very strong reason to believe, as we all do, that he probably hasn't done enough in training to warrant minutes. But I still want Dele to be able to flourish and go have a good career. So I'm totally with both of you to some degree. Like, we cannot put anyone before the club, but I still want to see Dele given a chance to continue, you know, the trajectory he's been on in his career.
Yeah, and I feel like even just looking through the comments here, there's a massive split down the fan base with whether we should, you know, continue to give Dele Alli his chance or let him move on to hopefully bigger and better things. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think Mourinho's say on this should be the most important thing, because he's the man who's been tasked with bringing success to this club. And, you know, if he doesn't want Dele Alli, then maybe Dele Alli shouldn't be at the club, which is an upsetting thing to say, because I'm a massive fan of Ali, as the majority of majority of Tottenham fans are. But look, we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Injuries may play a big part in this one. Marcelo coming in with a $5 super chat saying Happy New Year's. Thank you very much, Marcelo. Love the
big old Marcelo. Yeah, come on.
Saying plus, I'd pay for Winks flight for PSG.
Yeah, completely agree. Same.
We all know Marcelo's opinions.
Yeah. Yeah, come on, let's do it.
I saw a comment in here a while ago as well, talking about supporting Marine. I don't know if any of you know, but Marine are doing a virtual match ticket thing for their the FA Cup tie in a couple of weeks since they're losing out, and they said approximately £100,000 worth of income at that game behind closed doors and sponsors pulling out. So make sure to head over to Marine's Twitter account to buy a virtual match ticket for them and support the club as well. There's a comment on there. Stephanie saying the guy with the scarf, big up yourself. People loving the scarf, Scott.
Cheers.
Let's move on now to talk about Danny Rose and Paulo Gazzaniga, two players who've been nowhere near Tottenham squad this season, and we're finally hearing now that Tottenham will more than likely listen to bids for the two of them in the January transfer window. I assume from all of you it's a pretty straightforward, you know, if we get the right fee, let them go. We'll let you say it for yourselves. Scott, what do you think?
Oh, I don't even know. I think at this point there's been so much back and forth that I'm going to put all my eggs in the basket of trusting the club, trusting Mourinho. You know, what happens. And that's kind of the easy way out in the transfer market, right? Just wash my hands of this and see what happens. But personally, I think for somebody like Dele, I think he probably just needs to go to PSG, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm hoping that happens. I do think we need to move Sanchez on. I do think we need to upgrade there. I want Sabitzer in because we need an upgrade in the midfield. There's a lot of things I want. And I think maybe I'll say this, I think as a club, we're kind of in this position where we need a little bit more than what we're able to go out and get. But it's not quite an excuse anymore, because we are just so close that we're going to have to, at some point, roll the dice financially, take a risk, push ourselves to that next level. And it needs to happen soon. It started to happen under Mourinho, but it really needs to take that next step. And I'm hoping it's this window, but, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, David, both Frank and Paul here, channel members, saying, Gazzaniga, he's better than Joe Hart. We'd rather keep him than Joe Hart. Have you been surprised, first of all, that Hart has been, you know, he's taken the lead as our second choice goalkeeper? And I was going to come to Scott on this one. I think we'd all know the answer that would come from there. Scott and Joe Hart. But David, what do you think, Gazzaniga or Hart?
Look, I do prefer Gazzaniga to be. I was fortunate enough to be there against Palace at Wembley, pitch side, when he made his debut. And for me, look, I think he's a better goalkeeper all around than Hart. Like, we have to remember, Hart he wasn't the same when he left City. He went out to Torino, didn't have a good time out there. Went to Burnley, couldn't even get into the team. Do you know what I mean? And now he's at Tottenham. And for me, I thought I was maybe a third choice keeper, just to kind of push Gazzaniga up a level. But look, the whole reason why I actually think Gazzaniga is not in the team is because, look, I know him and Pochettino are friends, and they're from the same area in Argentina. I believe it's actually called Murphy in Argentina, an Irish sort of place out there. And I know they're very good friends, and I think that's why, you know. I think that's why he's not in the team. I think that's the reason why he's nowhere near it. But for me, yeah, look, I think he's a lot better than Joe Hart. And just on the Danny Rose thing, Matty, for me, I think it's at a situation where Danny Rose is going to end up seeing out his contract because he's not going to want to take a pay cut to leave Tottenham. Mm-hmm. Daniel Levy doesn't like Danny Rose because he's come out and talked a lot about Tottenham. So he's going to dig his heels in there, and he's not going to pay the money for Danny Rose to go. And I think it's going to be very, very hard to command a fee for the guy. I don't think we'll get one. Honestly, I don't think we'll get one. Because, look, as much as it is bad to say, like, you know, mental health problems that he does have, when you're a top-level club or you're a club and he demands the kind of money he does, you're not going to pay it. It's a risk. You're not going to pay. You don't know what the guy's mentality is going to be from one week to another. So in a way, he's kind of screwed himself over. But I honestly believe it's down to where the two of them are digging the heels in. None of them are letting up. And I think eventually Danny Rose is going to have to turn around to Levy if he does want to get back and he is serious about playing football. He's just going to have to say, look, I don't want anything. I just want to walk away from the club. But I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. Rob Hogan here, channel member, saying personally, and I mentioned this yesterday, I would take Sanchez at Liverpool. Rob's a Liverpool fan, of course. I like him. He's got massive potential, and I think Klopp could do wonders with him. Well, do you know what, Rob? You can have him. You can have him. Just take him. Take him. Money. Just take him. I'll give him for you. Give us Van Dijk. Straight swap. It's grand. He doesn't need a knee. Charlie, Rose and Gazzaniga, what are you thinking?
Look, I'll start off with Rose. First of all, Milan won't be there. First of all, so I think he can. I think he can't sort of consider that anymore. That Milan, because I won't be there. But for me, the reason Danny Rose is still here is because he's thought he's better than he is. I think he could have gone to Italy over the summer. I think it was it Calgary, Bologna, as well. He had offers from the Championship as well, Bournemouth, I think. So there was some interest there in the summer. But he thought he was better than he was. He wanted Milan, for God's sake. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's one of the reasons why he's still at the club. And I think it's a shame he's been a fantastic servant to this club. But I think it's just, I said at the end of last season, time to move on. With both parties, just best for both parties to move on from each other. And I think, look, as David said, I don't think we're going to get a fee for him. I think it's unlikely. Of course, his contract is up at the end of the season. So I think, for me, if we can't move him on in January, we just got to terminate that contract. I think it's no good having someone that's just sitting there not playing football and we're paying his wages. So I think it's time to just move on either way. But look, hopefully he can find a club in January. Hopefully we just get him off the books so we can save some money in wages. But yeah, look, it's sad with Danny Rose. And as for Gazzaniga, what David was saying, I agree. I think Gazzaniga is a better keeper than Hart. I think I am surprised that Hart has become number 2 because I thought when Hart was brought in, it would be sort of a Grant situation, Rob Green as well at Chelsea. I thought it would be that type of thing, but it hasn't. He's become second choice, which he's done all right overall in the Europa League, but there's been those moments, just butterfingers, to be honest. So, but yeah, look, Gazzaniga, I've never been Gazzaniga's biggest fan personally. I think I've criticised him a lot when he has played because I don't think he's a good shot stopper, Gazzaniga. I think that's the problem with him. I've never been his biggest fan. However, I would prefer him to Hart in goal. I do think he's a better keeper than Hart, but I think, yeah, Gazzaniga will move on. I think if we can get a good fee for him, that can hopefully add some funds towards other potential transfers. So I think, and it gets a foreign player off the books because we know we've got this massive problem with homegrown quota, which is just getting on my nerves now because it's preventing us from doing stuff. Yeah. Alistair Gold keeps saying it and stuff. So I think, yeah, Gazzaniga for me will go in January. I wouldn't be surprised at that. And hopefully we can get a decent fee for him at the end of the day. I think, I guess we could. I think we could get at least 10 million, I feel, to be honest. So, yeah. That's how I feel about Danny Rose and Paulo Gazzaniga.
Yeah, and if I could just jump in on Rose too, that one is tough, like you said, Charlie. It kind of breaks your heart a little bit. You know, he was such an important piece of the glory years under Poch, and at one point I argued maybe the best left back in the league. You know, even in the Europe conversation for maybe 6 to 12 months or so, but. You know, we also all know that he does deal with mental health. It's something that's important to me. If you know me, you know well. But he did come out and he blasted the club to the sun. It was not a good look. And then we all saw in the documentary little temper tantrum he threw in Mourinho's office, and we all know Mourinho wasn't having any of that, and probably. That was the moment where Mourinho said Rose can never recover and be a part of my team. He essentially said, like, my teammates are all terrible. I should be playing because my teammates are terrible. And that's just a really, really bad look. And so I'm not sure what happened there, but it's clear that Danny Rose probably just needs to go. as much as I love the man, he does need to leave the club and the locker room. I think we can all agree on that. Gazzaniga too. I think you're right on with that $10 million mark there, Charlie. And I think it's $10 million we can use. I think with Gazzaniga, he was our keeper through the run of form that saw us in 14th place, relegation form.
Lloris was injured. Yeah,
Lloris was injured. And again, Gazzaniga, I don't put that on him because as a keeper, when your team's playing as terribly as they were, it's very tough, right? But I think it just seems to me that Jose has never really trusted Gazzaniga. I think Joe Hart could have been much better every time he's played this year. I'll be the first to admit that. I am a fan of Joe Hart, but he could have played much, much better when he's played. I think that connection is just that mentality piece that Jose loves. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. I wouldn't even be shocked if Hugo just starts every game the rest of the season, to be completely honest. And we may see that happen. We really may.
Yeah, I think once we get into the business end of the cups, I think we could it could be something that is important for us to have Hugo on the pitch. You want to add something there, David?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, just on the mental health thing. Sorry if I came across a bit heartless. I didn't mean to. It is actually something very close to my heart. It runs in my family as well. But like what I mean is that just in football terms, it is a gamble for a club to take a gamble on the guy, and that's just unfortunate.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, no,
definitely.
Yeah, never thought for a second you were coming off, insensitive to mental health or anything like that. I agree with you. It is a risk to bring him on.
Yeah, Vape Gamer here coming in with another €5 super chat. Thank you very much again for the support. Saying Happy New Year's, lads. It's drink time now. I'll be here on my birthday for the Spurs follow along in a second, but buy the Marine scarf and support them. Unfortunately, we won't have a watch along on Saturday. I'm working, unfortunately, so I won't be able to do that. There'll be plenty around on YouTube that you can join in on. Thank you very much for the support. Ronnie saying Happy New Year's, guys. Thank you for all your work over the past 12 months. Look forward to continue to watch your streams in 2021. Thank you very much again, Ronnie. We look forward to seeing you around. Paul is saying Hart only getting into the squad as homegrown rule has spurred over a barrel. A few more comments there. Shane saying, how would you look? Sling suits you, Matty. Thanks, Shane. I appreciate that. No sympathy from you ever. Frank saying, it's a shame this channel will get huge. I enjoy the coziness here right now. Matt, you pick great people to put on your stream. Well, I'm lucky to have people like the three lads here who are willing to come on and help me out. It's always brilliant having them on. And Charlie, a question here for you from channel member Rob Hogan saying, do you think he's become second choice because Jose sees him with the Premier League winning mentality on Joe Hart, even though I think he's an idiot?
On Joe Hart, like I think Joe Hart, look, I've never questioned his mentality. He definitely has a winning mentality, 100%. He's got the right attitude. Perfect. To be honest, everything perfect apart from the ability. That's the problem with Joe Hart, and I think that's literally what it is. And I think that's probably why. I think Joe Hart, he's definitely a fantastic character to have around the dressing room. I think he helps with the mentality, and he helps. He's a winner at the end of the day. He is a winner. He's won the Premier League and the League Cup and everything with Man City. So I think, that could definitely be a reason why, Rob. To be honest, that's the only thing I can see. To be honest, with Jose choosing Hart ahead of Gazzaniga.
Yeah, I agree in that. Lads, if you have any questions on any transfers you want us to talk about here, make sure to get them in the live chat, and we'll get through a few of them here before we head off. Alaric asked about Mario Mandzukic, saying he's a free agent. How about him for a backup and to offer something different, like a better version of Llorente? David, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, no, look, Matty, he's way over the hill now. Like, what we need to do is, if we are going to get someone, like, ideally you want someone that's going to compete with Kane, right? So if you're going to get someone, you want someone that still has about 4 or 5 good years left in them, or else you're targeting someone a bit younger like Haaland, someone like that. But obviously someone that commands a lot less of a fee than Haaland. But someone like that to try and come in and compete with Harry Kane. Like we have Vinicius Jr. at the minute. Do I think he's the right guy? Personally, no. But he is doing the job so far, so we have to give him credit. Well, I actually have a question for you. I know I'm not one that's watching and writing in a comment, but I have a question for you. If Pochettino does come into PSG, he's going to look to offload some players. He will want to sell some players to get his own players. Do you think that Tottenham could get someone from PSG at a nice cut price because of links between Mauricio Pochettino and Tottenham?
What I will say to that is we've seen when we bought from PSG, it hasn't worked out overall. You look at Aurier and Mora. They're just overall for what we were expecting from. I know Aurier's been good this season, but overall from what we were expecting, they haven't really lived up to it. Both of them, like we spent a combined 40-odd million on both of them, and 40 million for Aurier and Mora. You expect a bit more, you'd think, to be honest. So I think, but if you look at the players they've got now, you look at who'd they look to offload, like maybe Draxler or
I reckon Brady could be one either. He's a good player.
Paredes, maybe. Yeah, I think Draxler's another one that doesn't get in their team.
Yeah.
Draxler, again, a number 10, but I think that ship sailed, to be honest, with Draxler, if I'm honest. I think who else is there? Trying to think, who have they got now? Obviously, they're not going to get rid of Mbappe or Neymar.
I think Di Maria, he's been there and failed in the Premier League. I can't imagine something like that would happen. Icardi, is he one of them? Oh, he's an important player for them. I think he's doing quite well, so I wouldn't see that one happening. Jamie Clean here. What's that, David?
Choupo-Moting. That guy is the best.
He's at Bayern Munich. He's at Bayern Munich now. He's gone from PSG to Bayern Munich. How that he must have the luck. His luck is crazy because he was terrible for the
two guys that I would love, and I feel like we missed on it. Idrissa Gana Gueye from Everton. I feel like we missed on him, and then I would take him. And the dream for me, it'll never ever happen, but bring Marco Verratti to Spurs. That's the guy that would tick every box for us as far as what we need right now. But he's one of those. He's like Neymar and Mbappe, not for sale, strictly not for sale out of PSG. But I'd love to have him.
Paul Gregory here coming in with the super chat, saying saw your video yesterday, Matt, denying those remarks on Twitter. Just wanted to show my support to you and say keep doing what you're doing, fella. I really appreciate that, Paul. Thank you very much for the super chat and the support. There was another thing from Christian Falk today, which I didn't really touch on because I didn't think much about it. But Jamie Killeen here is asking, what do you think about Khedira? David, Christian Falk is saying that Khedira is in England for talks with Everton, but he also wants to talk to Tottenham before he makes any sort of a decision. Do you think we could see Khedira join the Spurs?
Do you know what, Matty? There's a good possibility. Like you said, we've injuries. We need midfielders. We need bodies in that position. He's going to be the cheapest option that we can get with the quality he has. As well, he's a leader. He's won everything. So look, it'd be no harm to bring him in. Honestly, I think it'd be a great idea to bring him in. The only thing is does he need game time to get up to speed to the Premier League? We can't afford to give him that this year. It's as simple as that. And is he still going to be good enough to slot in and make a difference in our first 11 and even come off the bench? Again, not 100% sure. So that's a hard one to call. But if Jose makes that call, I trust him.
Yeah, so it's a good shout. Charlie, on Sami Khedira?
Look, I think Khedira, maybe I would take him if it's like maybe on a loan or a short-term deal possibly, because I think he's definitely, with the injury, someone as sort of a backup to Højbjerg until Skip sort of comes back. I think maybe until the end of the season, I'll definitely take him then. I think he's a guy definitely better than Winks, 100%. I think, he's a winner as well, got the experience, and I think he'd definitely do a lot for our dressing room as well. So on a loan or a short-term deal, I think he'd be a good signing for the short term. Again, with the wages and stuff, we don't want to end up like an Ozil situation with him. So I think on a short-term deal, I'd be all for it, definitely.
Yeah, Marcelo here saying I texted Neymar on Instagram. He wants to play for the Josie Lillywhites. He's coming to the lane. So a channel exclusive right there for Marcelo.
Yeah.
Neymar. I just want one more answer from all of you before we head off. Shane Fleming asking, what position would you look to strengthen? Scott, if you could pick one position for us to sign a player, who would it be? What position would it be?
It breaks my heart to say it, but we upgrade Sissoko. And he's still extremely important in the squad. He still makes the bench every match, but I think we upgrade Sissoko next to PEH.
David?
Yeah, I think we need a centre midfielder. 100%. I agree with Scott. Someone, look, for me, Sissoko, he does offer something fantastic to the team. But let's be honest, you could upgrade on him. And it'd probably help us play a bit more attacking football as well. So for me, I'd take in a centre midfielder. I also want to say to Shane, I hope he's delighted that he was humbled by Big Sam and Steve Bruce all in 1 week. I'm absolutely loving life at the minute. The result must have annoyed him. He was very active on Twitter last night after being quiet for a number of days. So, look, we must have stoked some emotions in him. But Shane, look, keep your head held high. We're coming for you. I told you, you're only warm in that seat for us. If we win our game in hand, we're 4 points off top, and the league is ours. So to keep that top spot warm, we're coming.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
And I think Shane could be on here next week to have a bit of a debate with you and Marcelo. David and Rob Hogan could be joining us as well, and we'll have to start that one out. And before I come to you, Charlie, I just want to say we're on 76 likes. We've got 164 people watching live right now. So let's see if we can get to 100 likes. If you are here, make sure to smash that like button if you want to see Tottenham make some big signings this January window. And let's see if we can get to 100 likes for the second successive stream. Paul Markey,
Romano.
Yeah, that's the one. 100 likes, I won't get in.
Oh.
Paul Mack is saying best wishes for a great 2021 to you all. Come on, you Spurs, and the very same to you, Paul. Charlie, one position you could improve, what would it be?
I agree with Scott and David. I think if we can upgrade Sissoko, that would be great. I think my personal replacement would be Yves Bissouma of Brighton. I think he's definitely a really underrated player. I think he's very similar to Sissoko. However, Bissouma can pass and shoot. I thought he was all over the Arsenal midfield the other day. I thought he completely had Xhaka on strings and everything. So I think Bissouma is definitely a good upgrade. Bissouma's only 23 years old, and I think he's definitely the perfect upgrade for Sissoko. He's a player that can grow. A young player who, as I said, similar to Sissoko, but has the technical ability that Sissoko doesn't have. And I think, yeah, I agree. Upgrade Sissoko, and I think for me, Bissouma's definitely that man. I want to know, what do you guys make of Bissouma? Is he someone that you guys have at Tottenham?
I think he could be a great option. He's a powerful midfield enforcer. I think he could definitely be a good addition to the team. He wouldn't be the most talented footballer, but he's kind of similar to Moussa Sissoko in his style of play. And I think he could add something to us there. Quickly, David, Shane is saying you need to have him on your channel. Very easy to have a go at someone who can't defend himself. We could have a collab in the making there, lads.
Yeah, look, hit me up. But I believe we're also coming on this channel, so that should be absolute comedy gold. Make sure people look out for that. That's going to be very entertaining. But Shane, you're more than welcome. Come on. But if you get outnumbered and you can't take the abuse, there's no point in getting tick at me. You are going to be outnumbered. It's a Spurs challenge at the end of the day. So come on with a thick skin.
Paranormal Frank saying if Sissoko is given the license to go forward, his runs can open up lanes. He can't shoot, but he can dish shaped defenses. I just want to say we're up at 97 likes now. We're 3 likes off 100. So
come on, let's get
that like button. We need to get Romano on the channel. Shane is saying super shout from Charlie. If G needs to leave Liverpool, I think Bissouma is one that should be on the list. Rob saying Happy New Year, gents. May 2021 be very good to all of you, even though you are Spurs fans. Yeah, we'd take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very same to you. Flamethrower saying Kezia is better than Bissouma. I think the good news is that Jose Mourinho seems to agree with us when we say we want a midfielder to improve our team, because Sky Sports, who I know have been reduced to a tier 2 on Twitter, but they're saying Tottenham are looking for Jose Mourinho does want a defensive midfielder this January. So perhaps that could be something we do need to keep an eye on in the January window.
Sky Sports.
Yeah, Sky Sports, Clown Sports, as Marcel calls them.
There they are, Clown Sports. They're clueless. Every time, I'll just say this, right? They always have a dig at Spurs. Whatever it's in the transfer talk, you get what's his name always on the transfer talk, always having a dig at us. You get their pundits as well. Everyone that works for Sky always. No one likes us there. Everyone has a dig at us all the time, and yeah,
it's all right. Matty's going to resolve our problem. Matty's going to be on there soon. I'm pushing Matty for Sky Sports. He's going to be presenting Sky Sports Blues Soccer Saturday. It's going to be perfect. So we'll have one of our own on there.
Yeah, that's his name. What's his name? What's his name? Darmesh or whatever his name is. Him.
Oh, Darmesh.
Yeah, they're clueless. Absolutely clueless. All of them.
Go ahead.
We got ESPN and Bleacher Report over here.
They're even worse.
It's real bad. But ESPN and Bleacher Report should just stay away from the sport of football, to be completely honest.
Yeah, no, I think I'd happily be the man on Sky Sports for Spurs. But the worst thing is when Spurs are playing, the person they bring on is Jamie Redknapp, who hates us because we sacked his dad and he prefers Liverpool anyway.
Exactly.
So there's no Spurs representative on that channel. So look, if you want me on Sky Sports, smash that like button. Let's get more than 100. But we have hit 100. So I do want to thank everyone who has smashed that like button. And I think that is a good time to wrap up the stream. Thank you very much, Charlie, David, and Scott, for joining me. As I said, all of their YouTube links are down in the description below. Make sure to go and check them out, subscribe to their channels and stuff as well. Michael saying, great podcast, Matt. Happy New Year, lads, and keep safe. Looking forward to much improved 2021 for Spurs and the world. Thank you very much for that, Michael. Hugely appreciated. And I'm glad you're enjoying the content. If you are new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed, we're looking to hit 4,400 subscribers today. Just reload this and see what we're on. We're at 4,382, so we have 18 to go. So please go down and hit that subscribe button.
Let's do it.
And let's see how quickly we can get to the 4,400 mark. We're trying to hit 6,000 by the end of January, which I know is a very big shout. But I'm sure you lads can help me get there. So again, to the 3V, thank you very much for joining me today, and to everyone who has joined us. Where's my outro? Oh, give me 2 seconds. To everyone who has joined us, thank you very much for watching.
And Happy New Year.
Sorry, cut you off there, David. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Happy New Year, everyone. Have a good one. That was all.
I saw that.
Yeah,
That was all. But look, you've made the fans happy. They want to see more of the Irish Yid. They always say to me, we want more. So you made them happy.
There we go. I should have said, do any of you have any final words? Oh, we're all good. Okay. Happy New Year to everyone who has watched. And as always,
Cheers, Matt. Cheers, everybody.
Don't pot them up.